Hey, what's good, people? This is Sports Debate Tuesday. That man's Rob McLean. The episode starts. Buckle up, people. Buckle up. The episode starts right now. What up, people? Gotta give the people what they want. Gotta give the people what they want. Along with my man, Rob. Keep it. McLean. McLean. I'm Jason DeBias. I'm your host with the most. What's good, Rob? How are you, man? How was your
What's
weekend?
happening? It was good, man. Good, productive weekend.
Productive weekend as a hard worker that you are as a coach and as an active player, but also a great weekend as a football fan. Your G-men are now 4-1. I think they're in the first place tie with Dallas, and Dallas holding the Cowboys holding the tiebreaker. They actually look pretty good too. I got to give them that. A lot to discuss today, man. We got our NFL pick six. We got little bit of UFC to discuss. We want to talk about Kamzat Chimaev, man, because the last time we did this was a minute ago, right? And he was in the news back then for winning, and there he is now. But Rob, first things first. Sometimes you hear rumors about locker room scuffles and behind the scenes brawls. And one of our favorite sports, MMA, it happens more often than not. From getting knocked out while sparring to pretty much any time Conor McGregor stays out past 1 o'clock in the morning. Or when Nate Diaz teams travels in the pack. What could possibly go wrong? It's become common, however, still inappropriate. But there's nothing in the world, Rob, like videotape to give you a full appreciation of the animation of how real and in your face these things can be. Enter the NBA. Enter the Golden State Warriors. Enter Draymond Green. In leaked video, Green was shown in an altercation in practice with his teammate Jordan Poole, ending with Green throwing a punch that looked like a Street Fighter finishing move. Choryukan! Or finish him! He has since then apologized for the incident. Believable. And will take some time away from the team. So, Rob, the question is, what was your first take when you heard this, and what are your thoughts now that the dust has supposedly settled? Wink, wink.
Yeah, I'm pretty conflicted on this. Uh, on one side of the coin, as a coach, as a player, myself, I understand how, things get pretty heated and, in a game situation, let's say, or, you're trying to compete for something that's very important. You kind of maybe do things maybe you wouldn't do in a normal situation to have that memory, that lasting memory, stick. So I understand from that standpoint. I also understand from just the pure competitive standpoint. Sometimes you do things you might not, you wouldn't logically do if you had the time to think about it. But um, this situation is a lot different, not only because Draymond Green's a repeat offender in egregious um, physical contact, we'll just call it. Um, but you know, I'm not saying he's not a great player, but I think there's becoming a time where he's now, getting worse as a player and not giving as much on the court as he would before. So a lot more of these things are coming up and being a little bit more detrimental to him and the team as opposed to where it was before. But when I first saw this, I would think, oh, it happens all the time. It's pro basketball, it's that next level, or it's pro anything, it's that next level, some things are kind of let go, some things aren't. Um, and obviously, when you don't see it, you can kind of excuse it a bit more. But even not seeing it, because then of course we saw the video, and it's just when you see something that like that vicious. I mean, again, he probably got up from it. They're both alive, nothing, no crazy injuries, but it's just going to that point. What brought that person to that point? I heard another interesting take on it, like you don't know what was said, you don't know what provoked that, you know. But again, we're grown men, and this is what's getting back to. We have decisions that we can make, and saying in the heat of the moment is only excusable at a certain point. Like if you're gonna condone uh, physical responses to emotional situations, then you're a child, and you can't control yourself, and so you should get treated as such, with less responsibility. So yeah, I'm very conflicted because I'm a big Draymond Green fan. I'm
Me
a big
too.
proponent of putting anything, putting everything you have to the game. And I'm a big proponent of the underdog, doing what they have to do to be successful. But in this instance, and I don't know how many other instances there were that maybe I support him or maybe I shouldn't have, but in this instance, it's way too far in that it was at practice. It wasn't even in a drill per se. They were standing around and no one was even really breathing that heavy. So it wasn't like they were, not thinking logical thoughts. So again, it goes back to what was said, but regardless, we're grown men. They are the pinnacle of our society. I hate to say it, or it is what it is, but they're the pinnacle of our society. This is what kids look up to. These are what adults look up to um, to see if their actions are okay. You know, and so I get the whole apology, but if it really meant that much, why apologize? Why not call out what it was? So there's just a lot of like kind of BS. There's a lot of Draymond Green talking about he might not be there next year now. I think it's just, I think it's terrible. I think it's definitely worse that the video came out, but it's pretty crazy that we're saying all this now. It's like it wouldn't have been so bad if the video didn't come out, but now that the video come out, oh, are we gonna over police it? I mean, it's crazy. Like no grown man should put their hands on another dude. In terms of, I mean, I don't want to go too far with this, but it's just that could be assault.
Yeah,
At the end of the day.
and it should be. It should be.
And,
Yeah.
and if nobody presses charges, okay. But like that's where it should be taken first. And I'm not trying to be like a softie about it. Yeah, we'll get in a fight with somebody. Like it's whatever. But at the end of the day, like that was kind of a sucker punch. That
Mm.
was kind of like that wasn't an altercation. That was like a nobody really threw it. I thought anybody was gonna throw punches, and then somebody got. It looked like he got knocked out. It looked like he dropped. It looked like he lost his footing for a second. You know what I mean? Like he got hit. So
Yeah.
that's possible concussion. I mean, Draymond
Yeah.
Green's a big dude.
He got
Jordan Poole's
Superman
a small
punched.
dude,
Yeah. Hmm.
right? Like full body weight. So that's just crazy.
I think
Yeah.
you were on to something, and I think I was something. I was on to something when in the opening diatribe about this thing, right? Like, you hear about an altercation in practice, you read about it, no biggie, right? You see a video on it, you're like, oh my god, right? Remember the Ray Rice thing? You know what I'm saying? He got in this domestic
Hmm.
dispute or whatever. He was getting ready to play football for the Ravens. He was getting ready for his
Next
preseason,
week.
getting ready for training camp, and then that video comes out, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, Rob McLean.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness." So my first take, I see this video, and obviously there's an exchange going on, and my first take, my first thought before I got all the facts, was I thought it was Draymond, who I'm a big fan of. We're both are big fans of. Who's not a fan of this guy that's just out there on the floor, not taking plays off, calling out his teammates who take plays off, resulting in 3 rings. So. But my initial thought was Draymond has a little bit of Rampage Jackson in him. For Rampage Jackson, former MMA fighter, former UFC fighter, and Pride fighter, where he can dish it but can't take it. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll tell jokes about you, but tell jokes about him. It's like it's personal. All of a sudden, you're the one who's gone too far, and that's what I kind of saw. I saw this dude kind of giving it to him, or giving it back to him. I don't know who started that. I mean, we'll never know. But then him walking up, and the way he walked up and alpha the dude, right? Like chest to chest,
Mm.
like Robbie, like chest to chest, like trying to alpha the dude. The guy had no choice but to push him away. So
Yeah.
the whole physical thing was instigated. because either he gets alphaed on and cowers away in front of with everybody watching, and these are elite athletes. The testosterone's flying, man. Ain't nobody, like not even Steve Kerr would let Jordan get away with that. An incident we hear about and we laugh about because now him and Jordan are friends. But imagine if a video of that came out, right? So, but who, by the way, guys, Steve Kerr is the head coach. People that don't follow basketball happens to be the head coach who knows a thing or two about like practice scuffles. So that was my first take. He tried to bully him. He tried to alpha him, and when the guy didn't succumb to that, he got decked. Now, and on your first take, you're like, dude, there's no excuse for that. You only got him outweighed by 35 pounds. You got him outweighed by 4 or 5 inches in height.
Right.
You got a longer reach. That's almost de facto bullying, right?
And you're older, you're more mature, you have like experience maybe in these situations more than somebody else might, but it's still.
So that was my first take. But then my second take, like neither one of us are terribly violent people, but I know you long enough and you know me long enough where we have a short list of things that are fighting words. Right?
Sure.
Talk about my family. I'm not gonna wait for you to take the first hit. You're gonna catch a 3-piece and a soda, and I don't care if there's a 3-camera set, worthy of covering this podcast season. Right? They mess with your family. That's a problem. They're like, oh, you want me to hit you first? Don't bother. Pop, pop, pop. So I like that he apologized. And when I saw the apology, it was authentic because I don't really see Draymond Green do or say anything that doesn't seem authentic. Now, when you apologize, it's because you think you did something wrong. And he believes he did something wrong because when you start worried about what your mama sees about you, what your mama sees, right? His own mama, that's this guy's family, them seeing that. All of a sudden, it's like, dude, how would they feel? Yeah, all of a sudden, you're like Kanye apologizing, So they said he's taking some time away from the team, right? But I think that was more of an in-house suspension. And the NBA is kind of waiting for them to see if they do something in-house. So the NBA doesn't have to do anything, right? So the NBA got let off the hook on this one. And I don't really see this going any further until the end of the year, until, like you said, until he's not producing like Draymond.
Right.
Something you stumbled on is something very interesting. If he's producing, there are a lot of things you could tolerate, and he's not. It's like,
that's the deal. That's the deal. I mean, that's with all sports, man. There's a lot of situations in even football and basketball where there's the domestic violence, like you're talking about with the Ray Rice, where it looks a lot worse on camera than it is. But why does it have to be that? Like it's hard because you have the legitimacy issue, that comes up, whether it's true or it's false. But yeah, it's just pretty terrible. I think that it just goes on our professional athletes treating their jobs like they're pieces of society and not just
it's just sad they didn't see it coming.
Get out.
Like, we're both MMA fans. If you get knocked out during sparring, right? Like, if sparring gets a little bit heated and people are punching a little too hard when you're supposed to do light sparring, sometimes that gets out of control. And to you and me, you're not even supposed to do that. Like, if you're sparring, you're supposed to help someone prepare for a fight. You ain't trying to get all hostile with him. It's his fight coming up. You're supposed to be helping him. So, like, you and me, we don't even like that in a sport where you're licensed to throw a punch at somebody. You have full authorization by the government in the United States. So I don't know. I just hope no one talks about it anymore. I think the two of them just wanted to go away. I just don't see how many ways that could be your teammate. But then again, I'm not a basketball guy. My wheelhouse is entirely different. And Steve Kerr and Jordan got along after their incident, and they won 3 rings, and they seemed to be chill with each other. So I'm just gonna categorize my first take with, what do I know? All right, what do I know? I don't know nothing about that. So, but fun to talk about. First topic, right? It's the elephant in the room. We couldn't ignore it. It would be podcast malpractice not to address it. So glad I got your take on that. So let's bring us to topic 2. All right. Bring us to the UFC. We got a small event coming up this week, but we got a big pay-per-view next week. Once again, I want to talk about that later. There's like two titles on the line, like TJ and Aljamain. Man, we got some stuff coming up, man. But
Yes,
for
we
this
do.
one, let's talk about our welterweight. Let's talk about Kamzat Chimaev, right? Russian fighter, lives in the Middle East or something like that. I think devout. I wouldn't say a devout Muslim. I mean that dude he knows crazy, not karate, right? So he's the hottest product in the UFC right now. He's 12-0 and he's 6-0 in the UFC. Four of his wins in the UFC came in the first round finishes, and three of them his opposition. Three of his fighters threw a total of one punch against him in three of those fights. But we know more than anyone, the higher that you climb the ladder, the harder it is to keep winning. Now, never mind getting finishes. The fun question of the week, Rob, give me three fighters that we believe can derail the Kamzat hype train.
Yeah, so now how everything's shaped out, I feel like obviously Leon Edwards is what he's going to be going for. That's what he would think an easy title fight.
That
That's
would be the
compared to
easiest
what
scenario between the other three, right? Yeah.
between Usman and even Colby. I would love to see a Colby fight, but I don't think there's any reason that Kazmat would
Kamzat, yeah, he
fight
wouldn't.
Colby for no reason. It's just not really a smart idea. But again, he's a dude that would just take a fight to take a fight, and I know everybody likes to clock Colby, so I think that would be really fun to watch. Honestly, really
Dude, I'm
fun to
licking
watch.
my. I hope they do that because they want to
That's
fight
what
each
I'm
other.
saying. Yeah, and they be talking, and that's why I'm like, that's something that Kazmat would actually do because he just likes to shut people up, which is dope. He's putting a resume out there. Um, yeah, I think that
So you got
I think
Leon.
Leon and Usman, whichever, because if Usman gets the rematch with Leon, he's got to wait. So, but the other I was going to say is because he's doing two different weight classes too, so he could go to a different weight class and maybe compete like Marlon Vera is doing. A Michael Chandler or an Oliveira or an Islam Makhachev fight. I think that would probably be some of the areas where I think he might lose.
They'd have
Where
to move up. They'd have to
yeah,
move
but I
up
mean,
because he has a hard time making 170.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah,
he'd be able to do that. That's what I mean. Though he's trying to fight between two weight classes, so
yeah. No, but I mean
we'll
Chandler would
see.
have to move up. I mean, yeah,
Chandler's lightweight now.
yeah. He's 155. Kamzat is 170. So he would, yeah,
Oh, did I go the wrong way?
yeah.
Oh,
That's all right.
either way, it'd be
Nice.
fun.
It would be awesome.
It'd be fun to see.
I like your
But
third
yeah,
pick.
definitely Usman and Leon. That's he's got to stay at the top, go straight up from there. But I love Kobe. That would be a fun one to see.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned Chandler because Chandler has like wrestlers have like this freakish strength in mixed martial arts, and sometimes even if they fight a weight class above them, they still have that forward pressure.
It's true.
So Kamzat has got very good striking and superior wrestling. A lot of the guys he just took down, like I forgot this dude Kevin Holland. He did
Mm-hmm.
like the little fake glove tap. I
Ragdolled him.
didn't like that little fake glove tap, and then took him down and scored the submission without even having to throw a strike. But so let me go through my list, but I wanted to highlight Chandler because Chandler looks like a big 155 that could probably fight 170 and good luck taking that guy down, right? I mean, how many between him and Gaethje,
True.
that's those are two hard dudes. So my number three person is Leon Edwards. Stylistically, it's Kamzat's best it's his best path to the title. I think Leon Edwards has really, really good hands, and I think he surprised us all with his versatility and also his ability to take other people down like he did in the title match against Usman. That surprised all of us. He's like, wait, what? Wait, Edwards is the one that scored the takedown? But I feel like everything Edwards does, I think Kamzat does a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, and a little bit bigger. So, but that he's the champion of the world, and if he knocked out Usman, he could head kick Kamzat. That thing would have dropped a truck. Because I never in my wildest dreams would thought that Usman would ever get dropped by anything. We've seen him get hit and he just eats it. So, which gives me to my second person, which is Kamaru Usman, because for all the same reasons I thought Kamzat could beat Edwards is all the same reasons that I think Usman could beat Kamzat. I think he's stronger. Like, right, Chimaev is strong, but Usman is stronger. He's fast, but Usman's faster. Usman hits hard. Chimaev hits hard, but I think Usman hits harder. So I think he does everything half a level better. Their gas tank, I call it a wash. Though I haven't seen a big sample size of Chimaev's gas tank. He's always had early finishes, though he did have that 3-rounder against Burns, which I thought Burns won that, but I guess like the NBA, what do I know, right? So my third person is hands down Kobe Covington. He's been insulting him. He said he's like his parents called him Cam Shot. That's their first name. I'm saying it nicely for the podcast. He says his mom was dumb enough to name him that, right? So he's already drew a line in the sand. So you got Kobe that wants to fight him. Kobe right now is the gatekeeper until the rematch. Let's have this match between them, and then whoever wins is you can't deny either one of us a title shot. Boom. So my number one shot at beating him is the guy I think he most likely would fight next, because I think Kamaru deserves a rematch. I think they had him in the list of the pound for pound greats, and you don't give pound for pound greats no rematch. You got to give him a rematch. So those are my three.
I like it.
At some point, I just want to look up who was fighting, because I totally forgot. I had them all in my head, my little photographic memory, and I forgot. But there's an event coming up this week, a female main event that I don't really know about. And next week there's 2 titles on the line, and I think actually I owe it to myself as I'm talking, because 170 is not the only division that's killing it right now, right? Like 155. Even without Khabib Nurmagomedov, Tony Ferguson. I don't know. What do you think of Tony right now? Is
retire?
Yeah. I'm sad because he was that close. He was that close.
You ain't that close.
He was the interim.
If you can't fight Khabib 5 different times for whatever reason.
So this weekend's Grasso against Araujo.
Just retire.
And Cub Swanson's also fighting. He's fighting Martinez. But next weekend, the 22nd, Charles Oliveira against Islam Makhachev. We're going to do a pick 6 on that, because all the matches are good. You got Aljamain Sterling against Dillashaw. You got Sean O'Malley, step up, Peter Yan. What?
Hey,
what?
That's big time.
What?
That's big time.
Yeah, Gamrot against Benil Dariush. Chukagan against Fiorot. Bilal Muhammad against Sean Brady. Sean Brady, who's been killing it, is going against Bilal Muhammad. So all of these going to be really, really good matches, dude. So, all right. So
it's all good prospects.
Nah, for sure. So let's go to our NFL pick 6. Bobby McGee, you were 4-2 last week. I was 3-3. But the big difference between us was you picked the G-Men to beat Green Bay. I didn't see. It's weird because sometimes I say I lost because I didn't see a path. I did see a path, and I picked Green Bay anyway. Remember I said the Giants give Aaron Rodgers the willies? They make him tap dance in the pocket, dude.
Hey, man, we were down 10-0 in the first, 17-0 in the second, so I'm still surprised we won that game.
Because you don't think the Giants have the offense to storm back from like 17, right? You're like, that's not that team that comes back from that.
No, we have the offense. We don't have the offensive line to do that. Right. But they started to figure out some stuff. I'm really happy for Brian Dable and what the Giants are doing, Mike Kafka and the guys, because they're doing fantastic. I mean, the defense is looking different.
Yes.
But it looks great. It looks really good.
Hey, they're in good shape, man. They're in good shape. I'm looking forward to them playing.
I'm happy.
Looking forward to them playing, some of these teams in the NFC again, right? So, which goes to our pick 6. So let's go the first on our pick 6 as I go through my paperwork. This is backwards. My paperwork is backwards. So the first game, we have the Patriots visiting the Cleveland Browns. Rob, who you got?
The Patriots skunked the team last weekend.
I know. They won, though.
So they won handily.
They shut out the Lions.
Yeah, and the Lions were, and they said it too. One of the best offenses in the league. They just couldn't stop anybody. But to get to shut out that team, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
with that third
I
string
think
quarterback.
with their third string quarterback, who they're probably going to have again this game, and it's not going to be as good for them because it's going to have teams game planning against them. But I think the same thing is true with the Patriots. Is the same thing that's true with the Cowboys. You know, simplifying your offense, working through your run game and your offensive line, and allowing your quarterback to capitalize on some play action. That is a time tested, easy, perfect little system that's going to work for anybody, right? And a team has to stop that, right? And if they can't stop any left, right, inside, outside, they can't stop the run, they're going to lose. And I think that's what I see from the Patriots is a Patriots of old team, right?
Dude,
A
yes,
quarterback
do
who's
your
not going to
job.
turn the ball over. They're going to run the ball down your throat, and they're going to play some great defense. And that I'm not going to go and pick against, especially over a Browns team who's being led by Jacoby Brissett, who has Miles Garrett, who may not be in. I'm gonna go with the Patriots on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Patriots as well, Rob. Um, I Bailey Zappi. What the hell? That's his name or whatever. Just, I mean, here's the thing: Bill Belichick is gonna put people on the field who don't turn over the ball and who play, right? This guy did a pretty good job. He got one pick, but 17 for 21, is pretty good for a buck 88. That's asking your quarterback to do just enough to win, and his defense pitched shutout ball, so that surprised me. And if they did that to Goff, I really don't like Jacoby Brissett, who's turned into more a very dynamic quarterback, but still not a winner,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
he's not gonna win this one. I'm going New England. All right. Um, let's go pick number two. We have the San Francisco 49ers against the Atlanta Falcons. I'll go first on this one. San Francisco showed me something, man. They showed me that they still got that defense. They still got great defensive schemes, and even with or without Bosa, they showed that they can limit a lot of teams to rush yards and also force them to make mistakes. So this is a good team that's committing turnovers. This is a good team that puts a lot of pressure on these third and long or third and moderate situations with these again these sophisticated exotic blitzes, all coming from the head coach to the defensive coordinator. I'm going San Francisco on this one, and too bad from the Falcons because we're going to talk about them a little bit later. I was kind of a gyp last weekend, but um,
Yeah, I mean, they played great football last weekend. They did, and they've been playing good football. They finished playing great football last weekend. Um, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, the Falcons are not good enough to, especially without Kyle Pitts, they're not good enough to win in this league yet. Um, Unfortunately, especially against the type of talent they come against every single week. I mean, it's Tampa, it's and now it's going to be the 49ers. I mean, it's literally they have a tough schedule. So I think they're going to be great as a team eventually down the road. Desmond Ritter, they got a couple pieces there, the Kyle Pitts, but now it's going to be the 49ers.
no, I totally agree. So, yeah. So that's both of us for the San Francisco 49ers. The next match
Hmm.
is the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Seahawks. Who you got, Rob? You go for this one. You go first on.
Yeah, I like what Seattle's doing with whatever they have. They just lost Rashard Penny for the year.
It's too bad,
I
dude.
think it is. I like that what the Cardinals are doing. They just don't do it consistently enough. But I think they have enough to come out with this game. So I'm gonna go with the Cardinals over the Seahawks.
Yeah, Seahawks is look. The 12th man has always been a tough place to score a bunch of points, but I don't think they need a bunch of points to win this game. Kyler Murray did what he had to do, right? 23 or 32 for 207 yards, two dubs and an INT. Finding a way to go to a receiver who's not his go-to guy, right? Like Hopkins in the beginning of the season seemed sorely missed because it seemed like last year he could just throw to Hopkins here or there and use that as a setup. But now he's got to spread the ball very much like the elite quarterbacks, and he showed he can do that. And he's proven he's turning into the. When I say elite, I mean top five or somewhere within the top five. He looks like he's trying to sniff that, and I think too bad for Geno Smith. I'm a big fan of his. My wife's family's from West Virginia, so we watch all their home games, and I used to watch Geno Smith light it up. And of course, he was a Jet for a little while too, right? And the Giant.
Mm-hmm.
I think he broke
Mm-hmm.
Eli Manning's consecutive game streak. No wonder that dude had to be fired, right? Right? You bench Eli because you have a quarterback that you haven't seen, right? You don't do that for Geno. Turn down for what? Turn down for
Yeah.
what? Sorry, Cardinals on this one for me.
Yeah.
Game 4. We have the Baltimore Ravens against the G-Men. Rob, keep it. McLean's New York Giants. Hopefully your quarterback tries to keep his jersey, McLean, like Rob. Keep it, McLean. I'm going to go first on this one. I'm going Ravens. Because their defense, even though they haven't been consistent, so they've always been there, and we were just waiting for consistency. And now we're seeing a little bit better, a little uphill momentum on making consistent plays from the first quarter all the way to the last. Speaking of last, whenever there's 16 seconds on the line, whenever they're at the 50-yard line, whenever they need a 60-yard or 65-yard field goal, Justin Tucker is always there. That dude is so good, they should consider giving him quarterback money, dude. I mean, this man has been there to save their behind, and he could have been there to save their behind against Buffalo a couple of weeks ago if they didn't, go for it on fourth down. I mean, that was an easy, where he was, that was a chip shot field goal for Justin Tucker, but take all that and Lamar Jackson finishing touches, make mine Baltimore.
Yeah, this is hard to choose. I think Baltimore's been as high as their highs have been. They've had some pretty. They gave up 28 points to Miami at the end of a game to lose. They did a fourth down at the end of the game to lose.
Yeah.
As much as the Giants are doing things right, I think that their coaching staff has been doing things in the wrong way. And I think a lot of it has to do with the distraction, which is going on with the contract situation and the uncertainty of the future and all the things that are going on outside of the field that just makes those situations even more, not pressure, but just pivotal. This whole season means so much to Lamar, but yet it should just mean the same as any other season, and that's why I think he's trying to do the best, but he's trying to this is just what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep doing what I normally do. I'm going to keep balling because that's all he has to do. He doesn't have to do anything extra, but what he has to do is not get injured. And I think there's just that, oh my gosh, he might get injured on this play on every single play. It's tough to deal with. So, he's playing free and loose. It feels like the team is almost not playing free and loose. And I just see like a disconnect there. Will that culminate to another loss? I don't know, but the Giants have been pushing people to test them, to see what they're capable of. So I'm very interested. I think this will be a great game. Hopefully, both defenses will stay involved. I'm honestly going to pick the Giants just because I think they're on a roll. Yeah. I really do.
It's about the money.
But I definitely can see the Ravens defense knowing how to, or I'm sorry, their offense knowing how to dominate the Wink Martindale defense, which has been there for over a half a decade. It's.
Do you go on the under on this one? Do you go on the under on this one? I'm not sure the line is, but I'm guessing the line's like 38. I would definitely go under.
I would definitely go on. I would. I think the Ravens are going to put up points. I don't think the Giants defense is that good, and the way Giants defense is a rush heavy, blitz heavy defense, which is all that's going to do is flush Lamar out of the pocket. So that's not really what you want to do when you play against Lamar.
No, you need to box him in.
You need to box him in, make him throw, and get the big guys to get their hands on him. Because little guys he can just go away from. So yeah, I'm going to pick the Giants just purely because that's my team. I'm a fan, and I really do believe they will win. I've been very skeptical about them for the last 2 years. Even the last 3 weeks, but last week it kind of shows you what they're capable of, and if you see them having a route, when you see a team that's great, but they got some holes.
Yeah,
This
they
is
do.
where a solid team wins.
Yeah, they do. Well, truly, they've had some holes. They've had some number one seed in 14 and 2 seasons, hosted home games, and have found a way to drop the ball against unlikely
Yep.
heroes. And the Giants are playing like nothing but that. They're playing like heroes. So I give them that. And good. We're split on this one. Game 5, we have Kansas City hosting my team. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 I'm putting on my rally cap, boy. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Yeah. Look, I'm going to go first on this one because I'm wearing a hat on top of a hat like a total dork. But guess what? It's my team, and just like Rob was a prisoner of the moment for all the same reasons, even though all the flags and warning signs are there for me to be skeptical about this game, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. Look, against a very disciplined Steelers team, you know they could give up some points, but I didn't think Buffalo's going to stick it to them like that, right? Josh Allen, 420 yards passing, four touchdowns and a pick. Spread the ball out. Everybody was happy. Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs. I didn't even know they had a guy named Khalil Shakir, and I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. All right, so here's the issue, though. If they don't find a way to get some kind of consistent running, Kansas City knows who the ball is going to. And they're a team that likes to pin their ears back and hit receivers. And they have a way of hitting people on contact. They have a way of hitting people clean. But the way they take them down, watch the little bit of extracurricular that goes on. You know what I'm saying? Drive your helmet into his numbers, keep the helmet in longer. Kansas City's got a little nasty that we saw from the Philadelphia Eagles, like in the 2000s. No big surprise, I guess Andy Reid's the coach there, right? But Steve Spagnuolo, a defensive coordinator whom we're both familiar with, gives me worries. They do that. They are a chippy team, and they always put a little something extra on the end that makes you want to like hit them or like, dude, I'm not catching that ball again. But with that being said, the Giants went through that in the playoffs. They went through that in the regular season, and they went through that a year ago. So they're very familiar with this team, and I think they'll win.
Yeah, I don't think this is how the season's going to end. I think these games are really good precursors to tell you how the post season games will go. And I think the Bills should win this if I think what's going to happen in the postseason is going to happen. But from where they are right now, because Kansas City started off so slow, Buffalo started off so hot. And then, dude, they've had over the last 2 weeks, they've just been, so topsy turvy. They haven't been on it. Late game, trying to win games at the end of the game and making bad decisions. And they just got to go back to what makes them good. They got to take it simple, take it easy. And, this is not how you should be feeling when you're going into a game against Kansas City. For me, Kansas City's still trying to find their feet, but they're clicking. Their defense is clicking. Their offense is working. It's not great on either side, but it's going together, right? For the Bills, it's kind of just like it's here, it's there. The defense looks fantastic, but the offense, man, sometimes just I don't even know why. I don't even know why. So
Yeah.
for
Who you
me,
got?
I'm gonna be a Kansas City guy.
Okay.
Um, for
Dope.
this game, but usually I'm on the Bills side.
I know.
So this is a tough one for me. This is a good game. I think both sides are great teams. So
Yeah, and as a Giant supporter, there's a part of me that hopes I'm wrong too, right? We just picking people, right? Look,
I'm just picking.
last year was the only time I picked against the Bills, and it was against Kansas City, and Buffalo won that game. That was a huge marquee matchup that they had in the regular season, impromptu the playoffs, right? So cool. We got one more. Let's go. The Dallas Cowboys visiting the last undefeated team, NFC East matchup, the Philadelphia Eagles. Rob, I guess you got to go first on this. Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be easy for me because I think the Eagles are the best team in the league right now. So I think they're gonna win. I think it's gonna be a good close game. Um, but I think that they're finally going to face a team that can stop the run consistently, and not even consistently, but they're based almost their defense off of stopping the run. That's not going to They're not going to run the ball down nobody's throat against Philadelphia. Um, and then yeah, Jalen Hurts, same thing with Lamar. The best thing you want against a pass rushing team is a scrambling quarterback. and especially a scrambling quarterback that likes to keep the plays alive and beat people down the field, not just
Yeah,
run.
right. Yeah,
So
I'd love to see the
that's
percentages on his completion percentage outside the pocket. Sorry, finish your
right.
thought, but that was the caveat I wanted to interrupt.
But
Mm,
no, that's it. I mean, I just it's Eagles over Cowboys, and I think it's going to be a blow up of Dallas this weekend. But we'll
mm,
see what happens. I think could be a good game, could be a blowout.
yeah.
You know,
One of the X factors in this game, I really hope they have this game on national TV, right? The Dallas Cowboys live in our living room, for Christ's sakes, no matter where you live, right? We're East Coast guys living on the West Coast, just trying to sneak in a Giants and Bills games, for Christ's sakes. Got to go to a bar, drink some mimosas, and have some egg burritos just to watch our home team. Ooh, I'm complaining. No, I'm not. So anyway, X Factor, watch out for Miles Sanders, right? He had a really good weekend last week. He ran 134 rushing yards, 5 yards a carry, scored twice, only on 27 rush attempts, right? So, in addition to Jalen Hurts, you got someone who's dynamic. That's a good catching. I believe he's a pretty good catching receiver. I didn't think he had a lot of activity this weekend. As I look at my stats, I don't think he had. He only had 2 catches with 22 yards. But as far as all-purpose yards are concerned, that might be your man. That might be the guy that decides the game. With that being said, I got to go with the Cowboys. They're really good at making sure you don't run. They're really good at making sure you don't scramble. And this guy, Micah Parsons, man, number 11 on that team, but number 1 in the Dallas Cowboys' lives, is turning into. And this might sound like blasphemy as a Giants fan, but I see a lot of LT. I see a lot
don't
of
say
LT,
that.
not as nasty. I mean,
Not even close.
it's
Not
bad.
even
Yeah, it's
close.
a wrong thing to say because LT does everything he does except LT's got a little nasty in him.
LT LT is still bigger than that kid.
Yeah,
At what
they
is
are.
he?
Everyone
60?
is. Well, he's bigger than
He's
Aaron
bigger.
Donald's bigger than him too, right? And look what
Yeah.
happened. You know.
But I'm saying he's bigger than Micah
Hmm.
Parsons, and he probably ran just as fast.
Yeah.
That's why it's no
Do
comparison.
you
He's
want
a
to hear
power
something weird?
rusher, speed rush.
Let me tell you something weirder. And I'd like to finish by this because I mean I don't like picking the Cowboys if I could help it, but I'll finish by saying this. And you might find this interesting or not. If Dak Prescott were playing his game, I would have picked the Eagles.
Mm.
Cooper Rush, who's the backup, who's I don't know. I
Don't
don't know
start
when
this mess.
no. The honeymoon's end. I know that. But I'm saying, how long is this honeymoon supposed to last? I think it lasts another week with this guy, at least another
Yeah, if
week.
if they were playing Washington Commanders, or if they were playing the New York Giants, I'm sorry, I'll blast the Giants. Like they're not a great team.
Yeah,
Like the reason why the Giants beat the Cowboys because they came back. It's not because they were beating them.
right.
It's like let's be honest. So the Cowboys have to play a team
Hmm.
that let's say like if you're beating teams that are didn't make the playoffs last year, right, or had under a 500 record last year,
Hmm.
probably not the teams you want to put up and say, hey, we're 4-1, we're amazing now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
no,
That's
no
why I
doubt.
said I'm not picking the Giants last week
Hmm.
until they proved to me they beat the Packers. Now I picked the Giants because I'm a Giant fan, but if you're
Yeah,
picking for money, of course you're not picking the Giants over the Packers. It's
right.
crazy. You
Hmm.
know, um, I think it's just at the end of the day, Dak Prescott wasn't being utilized is what we're talking about. Wasn't being utilized correctly because people are trying to put the ball in his hands to win because
Right.
they gave him the money.
Mm,
Now, if you're talking about they would win because they've changed the schematic of the offense to match what Cooper Rush could do better, then I would agree.
right.
But if you're saying that because Cooper Rush is playing so well that they would win this game as opposed to Dak going in and playing his best, not a chance. Not a
Right.
chance.
I,
Like
well,
it's
I
just different
expect
play
no. You're.
styles.
That's a great point. And actually, you know what? That's a mic drop. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. You got the Eagles for all of those reasons, and I got the Cowboys in a low scoring affair because I think if it's a shootout, fly Eagles fly. You know what I mean? But I think it's going to be a grind, and I think it's going to be one in the trenches, you know. And I have no idea what the weather's going to be like in Philly. Well, but Philly, that's deep water where they love to swim and other people drown. So you have a very very good argument. But my gut, not my heart, because I have no heart for that team. We both know that. It's not between them and the Browns. Are probably not two teams I despise more. But remember when they played each other and you said that? I cracked up for like a half hour straight. You're like, probably not two teams I hate more than these two. But I gotta pick one. All right. So you got Eagles fly, and I'm saying for one weekend, how about them Cowboys? All right. So we got topic number 4 coming up, ladies and gentlemen. So we can drink and spit. After picking that game, I bring you my favorite category: to shame or not to shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame.
As we set up our scoreboard, Rob McLean, here we go. There it is. Rob McLean, to shame or not to shame? Let's talk about Grady Jarrett. Let's talk about Tom Brady. Let's talk about the Tampa Bay Bucks game against the Atlanta Falcons. Coming back from 17, made it 17-15 because they listened to the analytics, right? And decided to go for it on 2, which I thought was crazy. I'm like, you're going for it on 2. You just, if you miss this, that's the game. And I was like, don't listen to no analytics, people, right?
Yep.
So all the momentum, wind at their back like Superman, the lowest lane. Grady Jarrett gets a sack on 3rd down to force 4th down. A flag comes in. Roughing the passer is called on Grady Jarrett on Tom Brady. Now you saw what it looked like. You saw replays all weekend. They were on sports debate shows. Shame or no shame on the call, Rob? The floor is yours.
Yeah, it's absolutely shame. And this is why I say this, because at the end of the day, referees are people, right? There's the rule book, there's the eye test, but at the end of the day, you come out and you make a ruling. Now, if people are questioning this ruling, what are you going to tell them? What happened? What exactly went down for a penalty to occur? Because stuff happens all the time. We might not have rules to explain everything, right? And usually when that happens, it's kind of like, hey, whatever happened on the field happened on the field. But when you have a referee step into the game to change the game, whether it's to protect the player or not, the game has to play out the same, and that's where it becomes fair or unfair, or it's not even about fair. It's about even playing field, where how can I tell my team to prevent this happening again, right? How can I coach my team in the future to prevent this from happening? Because you look at that video and there's nothing that you would tell the player to not do again. There's no extra movement. There's no slamming his head to the back of the. I mean, did the guy who took Tua out, did he even get a penalty on that play? Because in my eyes, that was a vicious tackle. Like, you slammed him back to the ground. His head bounced to the ground. Like, I saw that full live action, and I was like, that hurt me.
Dude,
But
the Pittsburgh game, the Pittsburgh quarterback took worse hits than that. He even took a hit that was low that almost started a brawl, like a scuffle between Pittsburgh and Buffalo. So, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, so my turn, but this is definitely going to spill over because I got a little artwork on what the sack looked like and this and that and the referee's explanation. But in the meantime, my turn. So, Rob, keep it McLean. You brought up something very, very, very good, very different. Like, you get called for roughing the passer, you go to the coach, you ask the coach, how am I supposed to go about that? The next time the coach is like, dude, I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. And the thing that pisses me off, that's just absolutely disgusting me, everyone's thinking, oh, what happened to Tua came into his referee's level of thinking. No, that didn't come to his level of thinking because Tom Brady was getting calls like that long before this concussion thing even blew up. I saw a Ravens game with Ray Lewis where one of Ray Lewis's guys got tripped and dived for Tom's legs and missed Tom's legs. And Tom got a flag for it. Tom got told the referee throw the flag for it. And you got Ray Lewis saying, these young men, they're out there just playing hard, and then you make a call like that. And that's what I get. I ain't think to it at all. I'm thinking these guys are playing hard, they're busting their behind, and you make a call like that. Now we understand referees make mistakes as my horn goes off because we're not even close to being done. But let me tell you something. Let me show you the artwork for a minute. This is what the referee said, which made me crack up, dude. Watch this. Let's put this out on the screen for people to read. All right, this is Jerome Boger, right? What I had was the defender grab the quarterback while he was still in the pocket and unnecessarily throwing him to the ground. That is what I based my decision on. All right, that's first. Now I want you to take a look at this. This is a freeze frame, right? Did he cut him low? No. Did he hit him high in the head? No. Did he put his helmet in the quarterback's numbers, which I think is still legal last time I checked? No. It is a wraparound. Brady, if you look at his front foot, his front left foot, he's still trying to stay on his feet. If you let Brady go, his knee's almost to the ground. If you leave Brady go, we have no idea to know Brady stays up and throws that ball. He had to take him down. And this whole notion, Rob McLean, that you're getting called for roughing the passer because you took a football player and threw him to the ground. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. Are we done? I guess. Are we done with this one?
Yeah. I just think, they got it wrong. They got to come out and say they got it wrong.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with just saying that, too? Just say, I'm sorry. Just say I'm sorry.
Because they're trying to protect their shield. And this goes back to they didn't take concussions seriously. So now on live television, when everybody understands what it is when somebody loses their balance and can't stand straight and you allow them to play again, that's we're becoming a more educated fan base, and we're not going to stand for that. It becomes gladiatorial at that point, and I don't think that's not the product that they're pushing to the family every single day, on the Monday night, on the Thursday night, on the Sunday night, that it's going to be
Pee-wee
this
football,
bloodbath,
advertising Pee-wee football,
well, it's not going to be a bloodbath, and it's not going to be jerseys ripped off and helmets hitting other people in the face, and it's not going to be wild stuff. It's going to be a professional football game. You know what I mean? So when you have that, and you these, it's just ridiculous. These rules
that's where the media is being
disingenuous. It's a role.
But Rob, that's where I think the media is being disingenuous. So it leads me to my last question, and we'll move on to a quick question. If the Tua thing didn't happen, does Tom Brady get that call? I think he does.
Believe so. I believe so, because you have to understand.
Can you appreciate their dishonesty, their disingenuousness?
The only reason we even have an issue now with roughing the passer is because of Tom Brady.
When he
tore his ACL in the first game of the season because somebody went low while he was standing in the pocket. And now that one rule has just unraveled a whole litany of roughing the passer penalties, because now it's what necessarily is going low. Is it making a move to go there? Is it just falling under their feet? What happens if I accidentally knock into their legs but they fall down? Is that roughing the passer? What if I hit them at their waist but our legs get tangled and he hurts his legs? Is that going low?
Yeah,
it's just,
dude,
that's what I'm saying. It can't be that. It has to be a detailed. Oh no, it's just the same thing as the catch, like we were saying earlier. It has to be a detailed black and white explanation, or else you just have to let things play out. And that's the real issue, is that why don't we just have no roughing the passer, right? Again, the egregious ones, the one where Tua got pushed back 5 seconds after he threw, where he gets whipped over and slammed into the ground, the actual rule. Mm-hmm. But if a quarterback is going to get hit in the pocket, he has a possibility of getting hurt. A quarterback, away from Lamar Jackson, is not necessarily the most fast, agile, most flexible, strongest person on the field. So when you're going against the fastest, the strongest, the most agile, the biggest person on the field, and you're not that guy, you might get hurt.
Agreed.
And that's the risk you put on the field. And that's also why you're four times more paid than any other person on that field. Right. So it's like, it's not just in a bottle. And that's the way I feel like that Tom Brady goes about things. Again, good for Tom Brady, bad for everybody else.
Right.
Bad for the product, bad for the other quarterbacks, because now you got a target on your back. And it's only good for Tom because he knows why. He wants that. He doesn't want to get injured. But then again, people are going to come after your guys.
Yeah.
That's just,
well, it's not. I'm not mad at him as much as I am as I am the league, right? Tom might be the victim of something I call the prom queen fallacy. The prom queen fallacy is? The prom queen fallacy is when you get elected prom king because the voters decided that. Someone else felt it should have been someone else. So as a result, everyone, instead of getting mad at the voters, everyone gets mad at you. So to sum it up in one sentence, they're hating the player instead of the game. So Tom, yeah, he does get a lot of it because you don't hear him complain about it as much as you hear him complain against it when he doesn't get the call. So I'm not sympathizing for Tom that much, but I think people need to understand, like, he was the recipient of that call. I don't know if he threw the flag himself. So yeah.
Honestly,
Uh-huh.
I really just believe that Tom Brady, and this is the reason why I think that Deflategate went as big as it did,
Yep.
is that Tom Brady is one of those players like LeBron James that can transcend the sport, and people have to keep him in place.
Yes, got to keep him
I think
upright.
I think it happened with Robert Kraft, and this is why all that stuff went down with the Patriots. I think it happened with the league. And Tom going to the league
Yep.
and making that a rule,
Yep.
and saying and advocating strongly for that rule, where you have maybe other people who would have done that and wouldn't have gotten that privilege.
Right.
And
Understood.
it has nothing to do about race. It has everything to do about status.
Yep.
He is one of the guys in the league. The guy. He's the guy.
He is that guy.
You know?
He is that guy, and he is the GOAT. Whether I like as New Yorkers, whether we like it or not. Right?
Well, now he is. But I'm saying when he was becoming the GOAT is when he was talking about that he has full star power. Belichick, Brady, can't beat them.
Yeah.
Beating, Peyton Manning every year to get to playoffs, winning Super Bowls after Super Bowls. That guy was talking about. Now it's like, it's washed up 4-year-old Tom, this and that. He's just crying. That's the guy screaming in your face, screaming in the ref's face about
it's true.
You can't do this crap. That's
honestly,
that's
Mike Evans.
Mike
Evans got suspended because of him. He instigated that fight, dude. He instigated that fight. And
Mike
and we can go all the way
Evans
back from the
has a
Tuck
problem.
rule. Remember the Tuck rule before Brady was Brady?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. All right, so let's move on because, dude, we can do Brady hate all we want, and it comes from a righteous place, But you as a Giants fan, come on, why do you care? What do you care about Brady when you got your 2 rings putting a whooping on him?
We got him on them.
Strahan and Tuck
right.
style. All right, so we go to topic 5. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you a quick question. Dude, I'm feeling that. I like that one. I don't have to sing it anymore. So, Rob, we're getting through quick question really, really fast. Very, very limited this weekend. Quick question. Do the Steelers stay with Pickett?
Yes.
Emphatic yes on my part. Like, you got to see what you got. I agree. Phillies at the Braves. Who you got?
For this first game or for the series?
Series.
For the whole series.
Yes.
Oh.
This might be over by the time we do Sports Debate Tuesday next Tuesday, Bobby.
True.
Got the Yankees. We got the Yankees playing right now on our pre-recording.
Right. The Braves. Yeah, the Braves.
I'll go at Hotlanta. Me too. Mariners at Astros series.
I'm
gonna go first. I'm gonna go home team. I'm gonna go Astros. Guardians. Had to look up who the hell they were. The Guardians at the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yanks, man, the
Yeah,
Yanks. The
there will
Yanks.
be no believe land with the Guardians, okay? And you know what? Them being called the Guardians instead of the Indians actually facing the Yankees takes away from the fanfare. Anyone who's ever seen Major League is like, shame on them. Padres at Dodgers. This is a this is gonna be a great
The
series, but I'm
Dodgers, but I
going
think it's
LA.
going to be a great series. I mean, if
Dude,
you're going to put money on it, it'd be the Dodgers. But if I'm picking my favorites, I
yeah,
pick the Mariners over the Astros, and I pick
yeah.
the Padres over the Dodgers for real.
I gotta tell you, I'm a lifelong Yankee fan, and that's the game I'm the most excited to watch. I
Oh, I
really
want to see
am.
that.
Isn't that crazy? I guess we're,
Yeah.
and let me tell you something.
Honestly,
Dodgers
I
fans are
think the
so cool, dude. Dodgers fans, if you ever, I went to a Yankee Dodgers game. They are so cool, man. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
no, I was going to say honestly, I think the Mariners, the Seattle Houston series is going to be the best series. I
Right.
think that thing's going to be popping.
Who's the most disappointing NFL team in this year to you?
I mean, I'd say the Raiders, but they're looking nice right now.
I go Lions. I mean, I had such high hopes for
That's
them, and I
true.
shouldn't have.
That's
I should know
true. And
better.
they've
Some
had
some
a couple close
franchises are just
games.
snake bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Quick question: do the Cowboys stay with Cooper Rush after Prescott gets better?
no.
No, of
I'll
course.
maybe for a week
Hmm.
to give Dak more time, but then technically he wouldn't be ready to go. They're giving him more time to rest. When Dak's ready, he's coming back.
Right. And recent
But
news.
again, like I said, they're not going to be as successful because they run a different offense. But
Agreed.
continue.
Agreed. I agree. I honestly think if he's on a 6 game winning streak, by the time Prescott goes back, you got to ride it. That's something Belichick would do, but clearly those are two different coaches, right? McCarthy and Belichick are two different animals, right? He didn't care that Bledsoe was his starter. That man was trying to win. So Matt Rule got fired in recent news. Carolina
Yep.
Panthers. No big surprise as far as the win. So thumbs up on the timing. Sooner than later. Better sooner than later.
Yeah, when I first heard it, I was like, man, that's early in the season. But yeah, I think it was
If
right.
you know right away, it's not
They
your
they
guy, right?
weren't going anywhere correct.
Good riddance, right? He's 11-27 with the Carolina Panthers. That's not. I mean, that's not something to go rush and buy
Don't
box
put it
seats
on a
for.
plaque.
Yeah. Oh my God. So Packers against Giants, and the Packers, they're in the red zone. Do they run it in, or was passing the right move? They went for it on 4 downs.
Uh, I think
Everyone's
that
questioning the coach now, and I hate it. But go ahead.
right. I don't know. It's hard to say. It really just depends on how the game felt. I think you don't take the ball out of Aaron's hands,
Right.
but I also think running is a pretty simple way of putting the ball in the end zone. So
No doubt.
yeah, toss up for me.
Yeah. So for me, I go. I say run because I thought Jones and some people had some good momentum, but I will say this about Aaron Rodgers the same way I say about a lot of politicians. When you put it in his hands and he's amazing and he makes all these moves, he's a hero, unless he fails. And when he does, it's someone else's fault. You're always, whenever that man fails, every time that guy fails, the media, the Monday morning quarterbacks always question the coach's decision. And now the coach, who probably listened to the media, but maybe didn't do this because of the media, right? Said, okay, it's in your hands. You're the greatest. You're the multiple time MVP, last year's MVP. It's in your hands. We're in the red zone. Win or lose this game, that shouldn't be on him. They should shut the F up about this coach right now. Okay? Because that's what they said he should have done in previous games.
Well, if the coach is being, swayed by media opinion, he's probably not the coach for the job in the first place.
I don't
But
think he is. I
I,
think he's his own man. Hmm.
I think that Matt LaFleur
With a name
is a
like
really
LaFleur,
good.
you got to be your own man. Sorry.
That's what I mean. No, I think he's a really good coach. I think that he's been stuck in a really unfortunate position, and I think you can understand how good a coach he is because not only has he had to deal with Aaron Rodgers, but he's drafted the players that he has drafted, and not only have they panned out times 10 in a positive direction,
When everyone
but
doubted him.
when everybody downed him for 2 straight seasons, right? And everybody now, oh, the Packers don't have an offense. Oh, the Packers don't have. Oh, well, Christian Watson's not bad. You just got to get him the ball a certain way. Oh, this guy's not bad. You just got to get him the ball a certain way. That's why you pay a guy $26 million a year to go throw the ball to other guys so
Yeah.
that you don't have to pay Devontae Adams a 5-year, $100 million contract.
Who's
So
having a great time with the Raiders tonight. Tonight as we speak, as we're pre-recording, Rob. Go ahead.
what I think we're really seeing is Aaron Rodgers realizing how much he had it when he had Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb, like he had everyone. Jordy Nelson. I mean, dude, he had everything at his disposal, and I honestly believe he took advantage of it, and he didn't take the moment for what it was.
Yeah.
And those big losses against the Giants in the playoffs when they were, 14-2 or 12-4. I mean, you look back now, you look at the team now, and he might be making more money, but I think he's further away from a championship than he's ever been.
Right.
And the defense looks fantastic.
He's
It's sad
actually
to say.
close and far away. I think it's good enough for him to take first, and I think it's good enough for him to get in NFC Championship game situations or the game before that. And like you said, he's so far away from the championship, but they don't see it because he's been so close. Like in NFC Championship games the last 5 years, how many times do you think Green Bay's been one of those two teams? Probably like 3. Like if we had to
Two,
look, yeah. So that's the end of quick question. So much for quick question, but but before we go, last week we had the gift that keeps on giving, Antonio Brown, but I guess he decided he wasn't getting enough attention, so he decided to ramp up things 2 incidents at a time instead of 1 incident at a time. So guys, I just want to leave this picture up here. This is one of the things he did. He put this up on Twitter, and it says, "Daddy doesn't live here anymore," a book about divorce, where Tom's leaving, and the wife Giselle and the kids over there. But look in the window. Look in the window, Rob. Who's in the window? Who's that? Who's that look like? Let me go closer. Who's that look like? So that's a little Twitter fun on his part, but I think incredibly tasteless, incredibly classless. Not to mention he actually is being sued for trying to rip off a music promoter for $500,000. So he obviously can't come back into the NFL, so this is the best way he gets his exposure, and we are guilty of feeding him. I know you'd rather have me not do these things, and we can actually take a 3-second moment of silence and not even talk about this before we go. Actually, is there anything you want to say about this? No. Dude, the bathroom break thing was better last week with Metcalf. That thing, I couldn't stop laughing. I watched this episode, that episode. I watched that episode 3 times just for that. I was cracking up. So Bobby McGee, before we get out of here, as we end this segment, is there anything you would like to say to our fans and the general population and all who support this show? Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, just stay happy and healthy, yo.
Rob says, stay happy, stay healthy. Rob might love you guys, okay? But me, I don't think I love any of y'all. In fact, I can't stand any of y'all. It's hot as hell in this room. So for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPad or iPhone, for all of you on your desktop, who runs the world? Old school. For my man, Rob. Keep it. McLean, this is episode 92 of Sports Debate Tuesday. I'm going to hit my music, and we are out of here. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.